Hey Mario, I really enjoyed your speech introducing Barack Obama. I think that I don't know if you had maybe there was a background or a circumstance where you needed to be very quiet, but it seemed very quiet and there wasn't a ton of modulation, different volumes, different paces to sort of bring more clarity to the points you wanted to emphasize. So you might try to do that. I really liked your content. I did think so early on in the speech, you used the phrase embrace change several times. And then after you stopped using it, your next couple of points after that, like when you started specifically talking about Obama's biography, the first couple of points you mentioned also related to that theme. I thought you were sort of setting up a theme because then you talked about his diverse background and you talked about even his work with charities, you talked about him rebuilding them, and those could all fit into the embrace change. And then you talked about his time as a constitutional law professor, and you didn't mention anything about embracing change there. So I think that you could make the structure a little easier to make it a little more memorable for someone to internalize the information if at each point you made it more explicit that you were talking about embracing change since you set up that theme so strongly early on. And then maybe in those points don't necessarily use the term, but just like connect it to making change. And then at the very end, maybe you can bring it back and use the phrase embrace change again to kind of show how you brought it full circle. You did avoid any verbal distractions that I noticed, which is very impressive. And that's an easy thing that I fall into a lot. I have in this video already. And so great job at avoiding that. I think the overall impact, obviously the content is very inspiring, and I'm really excited to see where this goes in the final presentation. I do think that basically just those couple things, bring the modulation, a little more vocal energy, and then the sort of the modulation of the volume and speed, and then bringing that structure to the second half of the presentation. I think those will help make it a little stronger. Thanks.